Hmm. Won't lie, I was hopeful that that was a thing that you could take your vampire characters into. Where to find us?
Right here. Hi, my name is JF Zambrano. I'm an author. I do my own stuff, but also I've written a lot of Onyx Paths stuff, primarily on the Mage 20th line. My pronouns are he, they, and you can find me on Patreon at JF Zambrano. You can find me on Facebook under basically the same. And I'm still not allowed to talk about this project that I'm working on. Now it's because of marketing, and they want to have like a very specific marketing release, which might give it away to some people who know a little more. But like, yeah, they're going under like a very specific, like, oh, we want to announce to the fans that who the writers are going to be on X day, and I'm like, okay, I really, all right. Anyway, sorry. Yes, it's a marketing game. It suits the marketing. Yeah.
You can tell this is our last session.
Hi guys, I'm Amber. I'm also known as the Rebel Selkie on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns, and right now I am under house arrest in lovely Buffalo, New York. I really don't usually. I am a teacher in an after school enrichment program, and I'm also a manager for a game store called Gathering Game. But right now, both of those things are closed, so I'm preserving and playing card games, and I think that's what I have going on right now. You can find me, like I said, you can find me on Twitter as the Rebel Selkie. I talk about games and queer and kink and how everything intersects. And I also, you can also find me on Coffee as, or Ko-Fi, or however you pronounce it, as Selkie Plays Games. Feel free to toss a coin or six to me if you have it. Yeah, and I think that's all I have going on right now. Mhm.
So I'm James Foster. You can find me on Twitter at Umbravenatir, Umbravenatir. Wow, I think I spelled that right. And with the Mind's Eye Society at www.mindseyesociety.org, where I just helped run probably our last convention for a little bit, for at least a month. But we are a World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness national LARP group here in the United States, and we try to connect with LARP groups in Canada and several in Europe. But that's pretty much all I'm doing at the moment.
My name is Gabriel D. Los Angeles, son of Chief Andy D. Los Angeles of the Snoqualmie Nation here in Washington State. That's right, coming out for you live from the quarantine zone. Here I am, isolated in my home. A lot of things that I would have been doing are canceled for the next foreseeable future, so I really have nothing to advertise other than keep your hands clean, and maybe go check me out on academia.edu. He, him pronouns. Thanks for watching.
Alan, they're actually saying they can't hear you. They can hear us.
You know, Gabe, we just talked about it, and I forgot pronouns again. He, him.
Chat, if you guys can let us know when you can hear Alan, that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
How about that? Can you hear me now?
There's a slight delay. There's a slight delay. So.
No.
Okay. Yay.
Yep.
Yep, there we go.
All right. So, what was I doing? Introduction. So, I am Alan Turner, your storyteller. He and him are my pronouns. And you can find me at councilofools.com/blog or at councilfools on Twitter. Yeah, there's not. At my blog, I typically talk more about my own game creations, role-playing games, and weird poetry and life stuff as it comes to mind. And since I too am at home being isolated and I can't teach, I normally teach game design over at DePaul University. I will be creating lots of tutorials and using the Unreal Engine and posting them to my website. So if people are interested in learning how to use Unreal, and making your own video games, I will let folks know when the first of those start to show up. They're really for my intro to level design class, but you know, if I have to do the work, I might as well hand it out to the peoples, right? And so here we are again, doing the third session of Uptown Shadows, which is a chronicle set within the Hunter the Vigil universe. And we have our stalwart. Oh, actually, one more thing. We want to send out love and good well wishes to our co-player April, who is unfortunately at home fighting off illness, and hopefully she'll get better, and we'll see her in our next stream. So hang in there, April. Get better. We miss your voice, miss your face. Awesome. So session 3 of Uptown Shadows, and we have our characters, Ferdy Massey, played by James Sombrano, and Shelby, who is played normally by April, is going to be elsewhere. Harper Thurgood, the librarian, played by Amber, and Daniel Ayer, historian of folklore, played by James, and Leonard Calder, who changed his profession from scientist to... What are you, Leonard?
I'm still a scientist.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
a nonprofit conservationist.
Oh,
scientist.
okay, nonprofit conservationist, played by Gabe, with his friend.
Yeah. I don't have a dog. Everybody else has dogs wandering in and out of frames.
So for those of you who are just getting here, a quick recap of the adventure so far. Our characters had a distant friend, a John Hart, who passed away recently. Through multiple different pathways, we were brought together to investigate his death. Came across his body, the body in the morgue. The weird things were going on with it. They discovered strange hair-like bits underneath his nails and in the throat of his body, which upon being removed, summarily dissipated in the air. However, Ferdy was somehow infected by a bit of the stuff and caused him to have interesting visions and strange bits of anxiety. They were able to cleanse him of this infection, and over the course of last session, they discovered a lot of information about a possible creature that is out there that is causing the various problems that led to John Hart's death. Namely, that there is... What did you come across? There is a house in the Uptown neighborhood that once upon a time had a large tree that was a marker tree in front of it. and there's an elder woman, an old Swedish woman whose home it was. It was a big family home for them. She has since passed on, but a lot of her remains currently in her libraries and her journals currently reside at the Swedish American History Museum. There is an old apartment that belonged to John Hart, where you think that he may have other bits of information that he squirreled away. There is, and then there's lots of information you pulled up at the local public library, which pointed to the possibility that this creature is some sort of hairy man.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple different names used by the local people in the street, the Watcher, the Creeper, but everything points to some variation of a hairy man, which there are multitudes of different types of hairy man out there in folklore. Some are tribal creatures by nature, like Sasquatches and Bigfoots, but others are like dark sorcerer things, and this seems more like the latter than the former. And so as we pick up, you have finished up your researching at the library and have some decisions to make about what your next steps are. Oh, and then there's a well. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the well at the house. And there was something about the well that was of importance.
And the tree.
And the tree.
It's still there.
The tree is not there anymore. The tree was long ago cut down, and then the house itself was bulldozed, as was the well, and a condo was erected on top of in its place.
Well, then what was the "it's still there" thing in reference to?
The "it's still there" thing is in reference to, technically in reference to the well.
Okay.
The well was capped, and the shaft of the well still remains well beneath this condo, and the condo tried really hard during the housing boom to get people to move in, and people kind of moved in and moved out, and the condo's still there, but it's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Harper, you said there was, if memory serves me right, and I don't have an eidetic memory, just the character does. There was a leather piece in the book that you have a copy of. It was a leather.
It was being used as a bookmark. It was a piece of leather.
Yeah.
Something copious notes.
Yeah, and it's it was something that was bugging my brain, and I wanted to do a quick bit of what do they call that? Just analysis of the either both DNA and the age of the leather piece.
Oh, you want to do a DNA analysis?
DNA and also the age of the thing, as well as if there are any markings on it.
Is this something that you can do with your AI friend?
This is what I'm hoping to do with copious access to labs and my AI friend.
Okay, so that will require you to go off to a lab and actually do that stuff.
And then I will hand the key of the apartment off to somebody else who they can
take it.
Okay.
It seems like we're splitting the party again.
Sniff this out.
So right before game ended last time, we were trying to just sort what was imperative, what was important, and what was interesting.
Yes.
So the imperative was, the fact that what we're calling the creep, the hairy man, is running around and may or may not be, killing people. Right, exactly, the creep dance, but might also be causing like social unrest and chaos, with gangs and stuff, just by his very presence. So that's the imperative. I'm just reminding folks, because I wrote this down.
And that came up because there were notes about how local levels of unrest on the street have gone up recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The important things seem to be that we were concerned about Hart's body maybe infecting other people, like he infected Ferdinand. So maybe we're going to try to get that removed from the morgue and cremated.
Mhm.
and then Hart's apartment, which we have the key for. And then the interesting bits were the leather piece, which we just highlighted, and then Geraldine Holmgren's books
Yes.
in the Swedish Museum, which,
Mhm.
while that was just in the interesting category, Daniel's kind of like narrowing in on it.
I also put up an online order to Amazon for pizzas and menstrual products to be sent to my place, so I can drop those off at the underpass
right.
afterwards, or on the way to the next part of the job.
Right. There were a number of tent cities that were in the underpasses near the lake.
Mhm.
Okay. So then, what are people going to do here? What seems imperative?
I'll take care of this
Going to
stuff on
this-
my own. I don't need anybody's
Go
help.
into
When I'm
this
gone.
house. Go
So
into these condos. Here's what's imperative. Right now, anyone who's with Ferdy sees that he is loading his rifle, his shotgun, his pistol, and is counting boxes of ammo.
okay.
You're going to the apartment, aren't you?
That's where the problem is.
This is true.
So what is her name? Shelby comments that while you all are doing these things, she's been getting various texts from members of the family, so she's going to go back to the family and keep tabs on them and let them know what you find. And and that's a big thing. Both being a combination of members of Sworn and members of the Union, both these groups are very big on maintaining community. And right now, there's a certain amount of unrest about what has happened to John Hart, and she feels like that's something that's worth her time and effort.
Don't you think that before we go running off with guns loaded, that we should do a little more research?
Yeah, that is something you would say, Danny.
That's why I said it, Ferdinand.
Well, if you want to keep reading books, you could call me about what the next chapter says.
It's going to end poorly.
I see. So who's doing what? Sounds like Ferdinand is headed off to the apartment.
Leo already took off.
Leo's gone, heading back to school to look things over. What is Harper going to do?
Oh, I think Harper, for the sake of no more goo ending up in any of my friends' eyes, I think I'm going to stick with Ferdy and hope for the best. And I feel like I will be much more help to Ferdy than I would sitting around on my hands waiting for the test to come back up from the age of the leather.
Okay.
Or we could have gone to the Swedish Museum.
We could have gone to the Swedish Museum.
Ferdy will go ahead and pass you his shotgun.
All right, so we've got Daniel heading off to the Swedish Museum. Ferdinand and Harper heading off to the Major Jenkins single residence only apartment building, and Leonard heading off to school to do some tests on the leather and whatnot.
To co-locate all the available data on trees, investigated spaces that that Danny had already put together. Hand that over to the AI and see what the AI comes up with for a GIS set of boundaries.
Okay. All right. Let me think about that for a second. The other people. So what order shall we investigate this? So I'm going to start with Leonard. That is just going to be, I guess we'll call this a computer investigation and intelligence check for you.
Where is my character?
And this is an extended roll, so you'll need about 10 successes for it to pull off.
Okay.
And each roll represents about an hour's worth of investigation.
Okay. So you said what and what?
Intelligence and investigation.
Intelligence, investigation. Where's my investigation? Oh, there it is. That's not going to help. Okay. Just building blueprints isn't going to get me any love.
No.
But research associate professional training will get me it.
Yes.
Okay. Then I see a healthy 5 dice.
Okay, so that's.
Wait, is my AI also helping me with this?
Yes, your AI can help you with this.
Okay.
As it correlates information.
And then, since I'm doing this, am I doing this also on computer? Will my computer equipment help out?
This is all computer work.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? It should be computer and intelligence, not investigation.
Okay.
Since it's all computer work.
Okay, then base 5, 6. Professional training programmer also help me then, since I'm coming up with.
You're not really. You're working off of existing tool sets.
All right.
So not a programmer.
All right, that's 5, and then the computer itself will give me another 2. That'll make that 7. And then what was the determination on how a retainer helps you?
So you roll twice you roll the retainer's dots. So it was a 3-dot retainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you roll, it's a 2-dot retainer. So you roll 4 dice, and whatever successes come out of that, you add to your actual computer pool, because it's helping you.
Okay. Does that also do the extended dice thing then?
No, it just, you add the 4 or the.
It's a one-time addition
to everything. Yeah. It adds to everything.
Okay, so then.
And then your total dice pool is the maximum number of rolls you can make.
Yeah. So 4 dice for the retainer will get me 1 success. And then I will have, what did I say, 7 plus the retainer's 1.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 dice, 9 again.
And I'm doing 9 again?
Mm-hmm.
Because computer is a professional skill.
But I only have 1 dot in professional.
Oh, then no, you don't get 9 again. I thought you would.
Oh,
sorry.
No, I just want the extra bump of stuff. Okay, so that's still 8 dice. And then I'm doing this 8 times, looking for 10 successes.
Yes, 10 total successes.
Okay. That's 5. First roll is 5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Second roll is 3. Next is 1. 5, 3, 1. 4 hours into it, there's 12 total successes.
Okay, I'll get back to you with some information. But you are working away, stirring solutions, aggregating information, and things are starting to add up for you.
I'll be Felicity Smoke for 4 hours.
Yes, you're totally in Felicity mode. Meanwhile, Museum Squad of 1.
1.
From where you are you driving or are you walking?
He'll drive.
Okay. So
then he has his car in case he has to go help the apartment people.
Okay. So from where you are, it's not much more than a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive from the library. And you get there. It was early morning when you all started this whole thing out. It's about mid-afternoon by the time you actually arrive. And the people at the museum are very welcoming. There's a big Welcome sign above it as you come in. And you were greeted by a young woman named Ingrid, as Swedish. And as she greets you, she immediately goes into a spiel trying to tell you the history of the museum, pointing out the various areas of it. There's some bits on longships over there. There's a presentation on the road arm over in this area, and then there are all these things going on. And after she finishes her arbitrary spiel, she asks what your interests are.
So my name is Dr. Daniel Ayer, and I'm here because I'm writing an article on local urban myths. And I heard that Geraldine Holmgren's journals are here, and that she liked to write about all kinds of local stories and events. So I was kind of hoping to take a gander at those for my research.
Oh. Well, she lets you know that they have a special collection that they share between here and the Newberry Library. And luckily for you, most of her works are here. She just needs to see some institutional ID from you because they only allow, academics to see the cool stuff.
Sure. I mean, and he pulls out his, university ID.
And so she takes you in back area down into some basements. And it's a neat place. There's all these rooms. There's all this there are all kinds of pictures and photographs and whatnot all over the walls. Everything is blue and yellow. And eventually you wind up down in this area that isn't blue and yellow. It's just kind of a dark gray basement. Lots and lots of bookshelves and cabinets. And along the way, she's talking. She actually knows an awful lot about Mrs. Holmgren, and she talks about how the Holmgrens had been very influential in the area for a long time, and apparently they were friends with Studs Terkel, and there's all this lore that she has about them. And she points out, she eventually gets you to the cabinet that has Mrs. Holmgren's books, and she notes that there's two different sets. There is the main set, which is just basically more historical diary stuff, and then there's stuff that people don't consider to be normal, where she basically, as she became more as she got older and she started to lose her mental faculties, they say that she wrote all kinds of weird stuff, and those things are just kind of tucked away in this kind of apocryphal set of books. And she can show those to you if you're interested, but for the most part, if you're looking for historical information, it's this main set that she's brought you to.
Well, I'm definitely interested at the moment in the weird stuff, just because it could inform later in life. Sometimes people start writing about stories that they heard earlier in life, and it sounds like they think it's the truth, but maybe it's local legends and myths. And Daniel's totally bullshitting at the moment. So I would very much like to look at those first, just to make sure that it's nothing that I need for my article.
Okay. She kind of gives you an up down. She kind of a once over. She's obviously a little uncomfortable with presenting those works, but she goes back. She's gone for a little bit, and then eventually comes back with a box of books.
Okay.
And these are so there's actually a combination of things. There's a box of books, and then there's actually some microfiche, and they actually have a microfiche reader. And because some of the journals were so old and in such a state of disarray that they started to fall apart. So they managed to scan a lot of this stuff and put it onto microfiche. Back in the day when microfiche was all the rage, it hasn't yet been moved onto computer. So it's going to require a little bit of digging by you to find anything of interest, and that for you is also an intelligence plus investigation as you dig in, and you need 3 successes to find.
Can I change that to academics?
Oh, sure. Yes, you can.
Cool. And while as I'm starting this process, does my gut feeling kick in? Is there any book
Oh,
that seems like the more important one?
um, there is a book. Mostly, the cover seems to have a bunch of scribblings in Swedish on it. However, the main title says Daily Rituals.
Okay, I'll start with that one.
Okay,
Um, so, um, is there a threshold of successes that I
three,
need? Three.
three. You have
Um,
all the stuff in front of you. It shouldn't be that hard.
yeah. I got 4 successes.
Okay, not a problem. So that represents about an hour of digging through stuff. Um, but in the front of it really does represent someone who is kind of um, fading in and out of particular cognitive spaces. However, it's about mid-book when you recognize something you saw earlier in the book where she's talking about um, appeasing the dweller. And it's like, the dweller started to come up again today, and I rang the bell, and he went down below, but he made noises all day, and so I used the bells. And she goes on about this thing. Apparently, she at one point eventually got a native medicine person from Kashina to come down, someone by the name of Ronald Funmaker, who worked to bless the house with her, and he was also kind of a historian, and he he urged her to put bells up in lots and lots of places. And so there's drawings of a contraption that she had erected around the old well, where she has a ring of bells around the well, and there was a conversation about something called a jingle dress, but he wasn't willing to allow her to wear the jingle dress, so she looked into some of her own traditions and found various ankle wear that her own people did in some traditional dances, and made like her, what she called her jingle ankle, like the dancers. There's a comment like some of the dancers do, and she would apparently stomp around the grounds from time to time because the dweller didn't like the bells.
Is there any reference if the bells were made out of a specific material?
No, they're
Okay.
mostly tin, silver. Everything is relatively ad hoc.
Okay.
And then she goes on. There's more in there, um, but it's a lot of repetition.
Okay. Glancing quickly through other books, does it seem like there's anything else uh, that's imperative in the moment? Because as he's reading through, Daniel's starting to get antsy about not hearing from apartment crew.
Okay.
Um,
Things that stand out to you. She, like I said, multiple times she references it as the dweller. Sometimes she calls it the ancient one. Sometimes she calls it. Um, Sometimes she calls it Chicago, but she spells it weird. It's Shikako, Chicago. And sometimes she references it as the hairy man. There's a point where she talks about how it whispered to her elder son who committed suicide, um, and she's the only one there now who can hold it back. It wakes up every now and then, and she's kind of rambly. She's like all over the place.
okay.
But the one thing that stands out is other things. Every now and then she would grind cornmeal, because that was something she was told that she needed to do, and place it around the perimeter of the well. Um, she was heartbroken when they were forced to cut down the old cedar tree because that was the anchor, she said. And she makes reference to the city below, and that there used to be more cedars, and that was the last one. And there's all these other notes.
Wait, is it a cedar tree or an elm tree? My notes said elm.
So some of the writings from the so-called academics say that there's an elm tree there. She regularly references it as a cedar tree.
Interesting.
Somebody was wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any representations of these ankle bracelets in the museum?
In this museum, no.
Okay.
But apparently, so Ronald Funmaker passed away when he was young, but she sent some of them up to some people in, where's my notes? Lac de Flambeau, who said they would keep an eye on the house. And apparently there are other notes in various other books about how she had some relationship with a groundskeeper.
Okay.
And at some point, some people there's like hints of a scandal because this groundskeeper was quote unquote colored at the time, and she was flaxen. She was a flaxen-haired beauty, and that was unheard of.
Interesting. So kind of a Hail Mary here as Daniel is collecting his notes and going to see if he can catch up with Ferdinand and Harper before they get into too much trouble. Bells, specifically silver bells, are very common in ritualistic magic and warding against demons and fae. Is it possible for a fairly well-read Society of Thule member to have some bells?
Bells are relatively easy to come by.
Okay.
And you could even manufacture your own bells. That was the thing that she did. Like her ankle thing, pretty much is like the kind of cone-shaped bells that people put on a jingle dress. That she's actually made from tin cans.
Oh, okay.
So they're not like sleigh bells.
So
These
yeah,
are
it's
handmade.
even okay. So it's even more less formal than
Yeah.
I would.
In some cases, you may consider it to be more formal because apparently each bell is made with a prayer.
Oh, okay.
So it takes a bit of time to actually make the thing. But the bells are apparently very important.
Okay. So Daniel's going to try to acquire some noisemakers and then go catch up with Team Shotgun.
So, meanwhile, at the Major Jenkins, Ferdinand and Harper, you two arrive. You are greeted. So this is a large apartment building, and it is a complex that caters to people with very low income, and they're basically small single room studio apartments, and they've got very strict rules about how people are supposed to be while they're in there, and there's lots and lots of elders in the building. Lots of people with various levels of disability in the building, so they have, and this is something April commented on. She's been here multiple times because they have to do wellness checkups on people. And as you come in, you are stopped right immediately by this security woman, Clara, who's sitting back behind bulletproof glass. There's like a little vestibule area you have to come in, and you know, she's very lackadaisical. It's like, can I help you? Looking the two of you up and down like you just walked in with shit on your shoes.
I might. Ferdy just kind of like motions, let Harper talk to her.
Oh, thank you. Crap. I was hoping with your history of never mind.
I mean, you want me to do it that way, no problem, but it's just gonna roll out a little different.
I think, yeah, let's play off of the fact that you have some enforcement in your background, perhaps.
All right. So, right now, to be clear, Ferdy isn't walking around with a rifle on his back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He does, however, have a can of chaw, and so he's gonna walk up and kind of lean over this glass, you know, take out a little chaw and put it in his mouth, and be like, "Oh, I'm with the police. I need to get in here. Want to open up?"
Mm-hmm. You got some ID?
I mean, yeah, back in the truck if you need to see it, but
I guess I need to see it. You better go back to your truck.
All right. I'm gonna go get my old badge and bring it back and throw it down.
While he's out, assuming the Harper is still there, she's like, I can't stand them police coming on up in here, slinging themselves around, telling me what I got to do. Gotta show me a badge. They can't just come in here and do whatever they want to.
I promise we are as legit as you think we are, and we're seriously just here to help with public security, ma'am. We just have heard a couple of things, and we just want to make sure everyone's okay.
A couple of things. What kind of things you done heard?
I
mean,
just generalized public safety stuff. You know, generally, I have responded to several different 945s before, and wellness checks are something that we take very seriously, and we just want to make sure that, you know, everyone's being taken care of.
945.
You don't know what a 945 is? Ma'am?
She just looks at you. This old lady is not having any of it. She don't care if you're trying to make her work, and she is not intent on working.
I feel my grandmother coming through in all of those stairs. I swear to God. Well, you know, coming from police responders are usually on hand for specific 945s when it comes to public health and safety, especially when it comes to a physical or mental wellness check. And we're just here to make sure things are okay.
We'll wait till your friend comes back. And as she's saying that, Ferdinand comes back in. And what is it you show her?
My old badge. And as I like kind of throw it down for her to look at, I say, look, I'm hoping that we can do this in a relatively short amount of time, because the person we're here to check on, if we don't get a hold of them, I'm certain they're going to leave a huge mess in their apartment, and no one's going to like what that ends up looking like.
Mm-hmm.
She just looks at you like you just ruined her day.
Christ.
I look right back.
She looks down at the badge.
Ruined this morning. As
you look back at her, she just her eyes just kind of roll off you, but down to the badge. You have to slide it through like the little hole in the glass, and she looks at you. What kind of badge you give her? Is this a tribal ID?
Yeah, it's a tribal police badge.
Jeez.
Huh. What in the hell? What tribe is it from?
Mescalero.
Messa. I don't know what in the hell this is. It don't look not like no Chicago PD. I tell you that much.
I mean, you want me to bring them down here? They're going to bring the SWAT truck, and I don't want to have to deal with that.
SWAT truck. What the hell you got going on?
Oh, it ain't me. It's your tenant.
What tenant?
Can't say that yet, ma'am. Just let us in. We'll handle it.
I can't let you in without knowing what tenant you're going to.
All right, I'll go ahead and get the Chi-Town PD down here if that's how we're gonna have to do it.
I'm gonna have to tell them the same damn thing. I'm sorry.
They won't care about they won't care about the gate. They're just gonna ram it down with the SWAT truck.
No, they ain't.
Can I roll intimidation?
Yes, you can.
Oh my God. This woman must be rolling an intimidation of 73. My God.
What should I add to it?
It is intimidation and manipulation, I presume.
Right.
Unless you're trying to just kind of bear her down with like your code stairs, in which case it'd be presence. Doesn't sound like you're trying to be nice.
No, I'm not. Remember,
she
my
is going
vice
to
is
resist
impatient.
with her resolve.
Okay.
This is an opposed check.
If this doesn't work, I'm going to try to step in. I think I have an idea.
Fix my
Got
dice here.
4 successes. It's on 8s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got 4 successes.
She just looks at you.
I
guess. You coming down here trying to throw your weight around? I ain't losing my job for you.
Can I do a quick investigation of her desk area and kind of what it looks like any photos or anything memorabilia?
Sure. And she just starts going off, right? She's going on about how people trying to push her around, and then these tenants up here that she's protecting this. She is a security for them. And until you got to have a search warrant, so you want to go and have a search warrant. Now, if you want to tell her what's going on, she'd be more than happy to help you. But you can't just come in here telling her this and that, and not wanting her to do her damn job, because they pay her to do her damn job. And so, what'd you get?
I got 7 successes.
So, there's her desk is littered with children and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
There's dogs and cats. There's like little drawings that people have made on the side. She's she's got TV guides, cigarette butts, and tucked away back behind her on the shelf. Apparently, looks like some kind of arts and craft type stuff, like a needlepoint or something, some kind of sewing materials, and then tons of books, and then lots and lots of files, which haven't all been put away. Everything's kind of scattered here and there. It's kind of a chaos, but it looks like this is her domain.
Mm-hmm.
This is her place. This is the queen right here in this spot.
Mm-hmm. All right.
While that's happening, and like in the middle of what her whinging and stuff, Furry's just gonna walk away and go look for another way in.
You actually go outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But you can continue with this. I just wanted to say he walks away in the middle of that.
Yeah. Ma'am, we really, I know you probably work hours and hours here.
You're like talking to her, and she just kind of leans into the window to watch him go away. She's got like this little snarl.
Ma'am, I understand. You've probably been working here a very long time. I know you care about your job, and I know you care about the people who work here, and I know it matters that people take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so sorry.
You don't even know.
I can imagine. I get it. I see you work with kids. I also work with kids on a caliber, or I see you have children. Like, I've got nieces and nephews. I work with kids on a caliber. I know what it's like to need to be taken seriously. And I just want you to know that I do appreciate what you're trying to do, and I appreciate the fact that you're worried about getting in trouble. But I can assure you, like, we're not here to start trouble. We just really want to make sure that everything is safe here for people. And if you can
Who are you here to talk about, to look at? Who are you?
Unfortunately, for specific HIPAA laws, we really can't tell you who we're here for unless it becomes a public safety issue. But I can promise you we will get in, we will get out as soon as we can. We just really need to get in here.
So you can try a it's not, what would this be? Persuasion.
Cool.
A persuasion plus manipulation. While you sort those dice out, Ferdinand. So this building is part of like a wall of buildings. They're all kind of side to side, built right next to each other. So you basically have to walk the block, go back around, and come down the alley. And once you get back down the alley, you see that it's actually kind of got a courtyard space behind it, and there are it's fenced in, but there are back stairs going up to the building.
What kind of fence?
It's a tall iron gate, about 10 feet tall, because this alley on one side is the backs of these buildings, on the other side is a about a 15-20 foot wall that goes up to the L tracks. This is right by the Argyle station, so someone on the tracks, actually, if you were agile, in theory, you could from the tracks jump over and catch on to the to one of the higher areas.
That actually.
So you're gonna try that?
Yeah, I'll try jumping off of the tracks.
Okay.
But before I go up there, I am gonna strap my rifle to my back.
Well, this will require you to have to enter the L station first.
Oh, I'll put it in its case.
Okay. Because you will be stopped if you go in the L station with a rifle strapped to your back.
Yeah, I know, for sure. I'll put it in its case.
Okay. You go in, pay your fee, go up the stairs, get past the tracks. It's relatively empty on the tracks. Apparently there's some big virus going on outside and people aren't using the trains very much these days. So there's not anybody up there on the platform to witness your shenanigans.
Perfect.
So this, if you want to try to jump over, this becomes an athletics roll using. It's a big jump, so it's kind of a power and athletics roll.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, power, strength, and athletics roll.
Do I have space to get like a running jump at this?
Not really. That's why it was more of a strength check.
Okay. All right. I'll do my best. I'm going to spend a will. Can I risk a willpower?
Yes. Go ahead and risk a willpower.
All right.
What'd you get on your roll, Lauren? Laura?
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 Did I say Laura? Harper.
You said Laura.
I don't know where Laura came from. Harper.
Oh, yeah. I got 4.
4?
4.
Let's see. I think it was a fluke last time. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually when you talk about your nieces and nephews that her eyes kind of brighten a little bit and her ears perk up, and she begins a dialogue about her nieces and nephews, and she's got this one nephew. He's a knucklehead. He just went to prison, and she'll be doing everything she can do for him. And she's got this one niece who's just graduating from, and she's actually going to be a scientist. She's up at Chicago State. and she's very excited to talk about her people. And the fact that you're so nicely listening, you can feel the bond building between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "You're a nice one. And she even comments about this, that you are nice. That other guy's an asshole, and she can't stand police. But you seem like one of the nice ones. Just don't matter where police come from. They can come from Timbuktu, and they still think they got more power than you."
I feel you. I get that. Unfortunately, he's just here to help me do my job, and I'm here to help him do his. And we don't mean to be trying to push your buttons, and we honestly don't mean to be trying to throw weight around or anything. We're just, dealing with a really sensitive situation, and the sooner we can get in there and the sooner we can do that, hopefully we won't have to bring in even more cops or more problems for you. That's our biggest worry.
I don't need no more police up here, but I tell you what, I'm gonna buzz you in. I'm gonna make your boy wait a little bit, though. I want to sweat him out a little bit, just because I can't.
Oh, ma'am, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me.
It's
really.
all right, baby. You go ahead. You do what you gotta do. You take care of your business.
Thank you. I'm just gonna slide up in, and I'm gonna text in just big giant letters, "Where are you?"
Meanwhile, you're kind of making that jump.
No. How did we split party? This isn't supposed to happen.
I got 3 successes on my jump.
Thank God.
On your back.
So, yeah, it's not really a difficult jump.
Yeah.
You clear the fence and basically grab onto one of these old wooden balconies and you're able to pull yourself back up.
All right.
So from here, you're not quite sure where you're supposed to be going.
There was stairs on the side of the building, or
these are like almost like fire escape style back stairs. Yeah. The only thing that you have is that your the key you have says 4E. So you presume it's on the 4th floor.
Well, yeah, I'll just see if I can make my way to a 4th floor window, I guess.
Okay. So
Centennial window.
So you're kind of walking along the landing there, looking, see, and luckily for you, they are marked which apartment they are.
Oh, that's handy. So I'll try and pick the right one then.
So meanwhile, Harper, you get in. This place has one of those smells, This smell of sweat, cigarettes, lots of smokers go through, mothballs, all those kind of things. Mm-hmm. You go back to the elevator. It's kind of an old elevator. It takes a second for it to open up. Hop in, takes you up to the 4th floor, and it's not hard to find 4E. And you are texting Ferdy, but he's not responding immediately. Apparently, he's busy doing something. So, just as you get to 4E, you realize, Ferdinand, that your phone has been going off. You got multiple texts from Harper. What do your texts say? Harper?
Where are you? What's going on? I'm in. Where are you?
I pick it up and I look at it. And then with like one finger, I type it like in all caps and probably misspelled, even though these words are only 2 letters. I'm in.
All right.
On your old clamshell phone.
Yeah.
So that key you have fits into the who's got the key? You have the key?
Do I have the key? Do you have the key, Ferdy?
A second ago you said I had it.
Yes, that's what I
So
thought.
I'm waiting anyways.
So the key that you have for Nan,
yeah, because Leo gave it to me.
Right. So the key that you have for Nan fits into the back lock of this apartment building.
All right.
Ooh.
There's a beep as the door opens up. And the first thing you are hit with is a smell of unwashed funk.
Oh, good. I put another fingerful of chaw in my mouth.
And you know that Harper is at the front door.
Well, okay. So I would just go let her in, and I am. But the first thing I want to do is just give the place a good look over and make sure, like, as I'm not going to go let her in, that I'll get jumped by like a evil hair monster or something.
So as you come in, the first thing that stands out to you in the fading light is that this place has been trashed. There are papers everywhere. Someone has basically been living hard in this space without doing much in the way of cleaning. And more importantly, they have been scrawling all over everything. The walls, the floor, the TV, the doors, the bathroom. They're just like scribbles and notes, and sometimes in Sharpie, sometimes in pencil, sometimes it's actually seems like a scratch stain with a knife. It's very very much a explosion of neuroses just happening all over the walls. And they're all notes about the hairy man. There's little drawings of the hairy man, these little Bigfoot-looking things, and these little peoples. And some of the Bigfoot-looking characters are crossed out. It's basically whoever was here, and you know this to be John, has been using everything in this apartment as scratch paper.
Okay. Well, I look it over, right, and make my way over to the front door and open it up.
Yeah. Hear the door handle turn. There's a click, and before you see Ferdinand, you are hit by a waft of offal and funk.
Ugh.
There's old food sitting on a hot plate, covered in maggots. It's a mess in here.
Ugh.
And you're both in.
I offer you my can of chaw.
Do you have a bandana?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I probably have like 6, by the way. But
It's fine. Just tie it around my face. Let the long part hang down to help. Yep, just like that. Just like that. Just to let it hang down over my face to help with the pungency of the aroma. And I start looking around, and I pull out my cell phone, and I immediately start taking pictures of some of the walls.
Okay. So the first thing that you do notice, since you were looking for this earlier today, are some of those books that he checked out.
Oh. Good.
Amongst all the scattered papers and newspapers. The thing that stands out to you, Ferdinand, are the newspapers. There's basically there's like a crazy wall here where he's got string marking places where people have died. There's like newspaper clippings next to some of those places. One that stands out to you is a murder that apparently happened recently, and it's actually a block away from where you all are at. Looking at the weird drawn map that he has on the wall. It's like it was a triple homicide.
Does it have like names listed or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the article talks about how there is a growing gang warfare in the area, and there's an abandoned set of condos where some people apparently got into the basement, have been using the basement for various things, and there's like a showdown between gang members down there, and 3 people were killed.
I show Harper the newspaper and like tap it, and I'm like, the basement, the well.
Can you say that again? I lost you for a minute. I had like a weird electronical thing on my end.
The basement, the well.
Yeah, I think you might. Can you pocket that for me? And I also like scoop up a couple of the books. I think you might be right. Do you think?
We
Yeah.
need to go over there. Like we can take these pictures here. We can have the other guys come and
Yeah.
research it or whatever they're gonna do. But
Yeah.
like we need to go down to this basement.
I don't think we should go by ourselves though.
We can call them if you want, but I feel like they're gonna be more interested in the books and stuff.
All right. Well, I'll call them. Let me get a couple more pictures here. Let's check the rest of the house. And then we can head over there. And
So-
by the time we're done here, they'll meet us over there, hopefully.
So you two dig around the rest of this apartment.
Mhm.
That 3 successes are needed basically on a intelligence plus investigation. That's for either or both of you.
I use my corpse as specialty.
There's no corpse.
Okay.
I also have a specialty in crime scenes. Would that help?
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Can
If three, can I roll an 8? Can I roll an 8 again with the professional?
How many dots do you have in the profession?
Just one.
No, I think you need 3 for the
2 dots for 9 again.
for 9
3
again.
dots. Okay. All right.
3 was enough though. 3 was
Yeah,
enough.
three's just enough.
No, 3 is just enough. That's perfectly fine. It takes a little digging. You two are in this place kicking up dust for at least a half an hour, poking around things, and it's when you start moving the bed mattresses around, you spot that there's a gash underneath the bed springs, and reaching around in there, you pull out a handful of photographs. Looks like they were printed out at some place like a Walgreens or something, and they're all photos apparently of the neighborhood. And what's interesting about them, in some places there are places where he took pictures of his own walls, and he's taking pictures of the weird little hairy men that he drew. Then there's places up and down the street late at night, and if you look really closely, off in the distance, just beyond the street lamps, there's a figure.
Oh.
A tall, shadowy, thick figure that's hard to make out. And then there's a picture of a mural made of it's a mosaic mural in one of the underpasses, and it's got images from apparently the local some of the local indigenous people put together this this local history mural, and it's got pictures of various people from the community, but tucked away towards the ground in one of them is what looks like someone drew a picture of the same thing that he's been drawing on his walls. And there's tons of this where he's got pictures and scenes and graffiti where people have drawn pictures of the thing, and he's and in some cases he's marked hairy man, some cases he marked little people, in some cases he just left a question mark. But all the ones that he's marked hairy man are circled in red, and they are, for the most part, they correlate with some of the images that he's got on the walls, and all those areas center around that house, which is a block away.
We ready?
As I'll ever be.
Oh, there is one more picture. I'm sorry for looking at my notes. There's one more picture, and it's apparently a picture of the basement. And it looks like he snuck in when the police weren't there, and took pictures of like the homicide scene. And it's not like a normal kind of gang shooting. It looks like people got straight up murdered in this space. Bodies laid out, and he just writes sacrifice.
Yep.
Makes sense. Also, Ferdy, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. You're gonna have to go back out the way you came. This woman down there is putting her ass on her line. I'm not gonna walk out of here with you next to me.
I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, how hard was it?
It's actually relatively easy for you to go down the stairs and open the back gate and go out.
But also, I'm not gonna do that.
Ugh. I'm gonna have this woman haunting me for the next 40 years.
You'll live.
Maybe. I don't even know if I'm gonna see next Tuesday at this rate. Let's go.
You want to
Come on,
swap
then.
being haunted stories? You're gonna live.
Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna look good with a head of gray hair. Let's go then. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
So this whole endeavor has taken about slightly more than an hour. At which point your phones start blowing up as Daniel is trying to contact you all.
All right, I'm gonna answer my phone. Hi, we're still alive. How are you?
Good, you're still alive. I was very worried about this because, I was very certain that you were going to get dragged into a fight because
I mean, I got
Shelby's
dragged
not
into
here.
something.
You can hear like rustling pages. So
Put him on speaker.
Oh, okay. I put him on speaker.
I found
Harder for him to talk shit that way.
No, it's all right. We're still gonna talk shit.
We're listening.
So Geraldine Holmgren was possibly crazy. However, she wrote a lot of journals late in life about what she called the Dweller, which, considering the titles and names that we've been running into, probably is the Creep. It caused a lot of suicides, and there's something about her sleeping with the groundskeeper, but I didn't follow up on that one yet. But she called it the Ancient One, and to make a long story short, because I'm sure that is important, we need more bells. I have some bells. We need more bells. There are references in the journals to like native apparel that has bells and Swedish apparel that has bells, and I have some bells. You hear ringing in the background, but it doesn't like bells.
It doesn't like bells. The Dweller
No.
doesn't like bells. Do we think this Dweller is also the hairy man?
Yes. The notes say that the Dweller is also known as the Hairy Man, which is also known as the Ancient One. There are a couple other names involved, but she got help from a local native man whose name in Alan, the last name is Funmaker.
Funmaker.
Unmaker. Funmaker.
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 It's the real name.
But bells are really the important part. And I kept running into a name like it's like Chicago, but spelled differently. That requires some more research because I'm not exactly sure. Alan, can you spell that again? Chicago.
Sure. It's SHI.
Yep.
KA.
Yep.
KO.
Oh, Chicago.
She actually has a couple of different variations of it, but they all kind of come down to like something that looks like Chicago, but it actually sounds slightly different.
Okay. The bells part wasn't super surprising considering that's a fairly common defense against supernatural creatures, demonic entities, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But we'll need some more probably. Obviously I don't know if it's immune to bullets, but it's not immune to bells.
Well, that's interesting because I'm all out of bells.
We can make some.
We could make some.
Ding, ding, ding,
There's
ding,
a
ding.
grocery bag down there. Old cans of chaw, some fishing line. We can make some.
Me in your truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Down by your feet there.
Meanwhile, back on campus, you what were your results, Leonard?
12 out of the 10 over 4 hours.
Oh, wow. So that actually reduces, you got over 10. Oh, so not by 3. We're going to call it 3 hours for the second time. There's not a whole lot of stuff in this. Things that stand out to you that this is deerskin kind of thing you make moccasins or something out of. It has been... You're doing a DNA test on it?
Yeah, DNA and age testing it.
So age testing is interesting because you place it. This is the 2020s, so you place it easily about 100 years old. It's an old piece of leather. Two, there's various particles and whatnot all mixed in, but there's an awful lot of. There are two things. There's residue from some unknown substance. This is actually part of something bigger. So even though this is the kind of stuff you might make some kind of moccasin moccasin leather, or at least regalia leather. There are little holes all in it, like something had been attached to it.
Like bells?
Like bells. And there's like a holes at the end, so this looks like it could have been like an anklet or something, or a bracelet, part of someone's outfit. And there's lots of cornmeal. It's like the whole thing has been soaked in cornmeal or cornmeal soup. Bits of residue of bits of cedar.
Should have gotten an extra die for sworn.
Definitely. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, definitely various salvia.
Okay.
Sage.
Wait, salvia?
Yeah. This thing was blessed to death.
Oh wow. Part of a bigger piece, definitely jingle related, and very, very, very blessed. Running through stuff in my mind about whose nation it might be attached to, or region.
Just from the combination, the cornmeal kind of throws you off a little bit, but everything else kind of points towards like a Kanik,
Okay.
and very much more in Anishinaabe woodlands, maybe even going further north or further south.
And no sign of it having been buried, right?
No.
Okay.
So there's lots of. So in addition to his DNA, which is on it, there are other human DNA on it. So this has passed hands a few times.
Northern Midwest region.
Definitely Great Lakes.
Definitely Great Lakes. Have not been a part of a burial mound, even though the trees, the information that we were looking at was specifically around burial markers on the tree. And nothing to be spoken of on, like, is does anything weird about the corn? I guess there would be nothing weird that I would know about the cornmeal that would suddenly just pop up. Other than it's weird.
Well, actually, one thing does pop up in there, and that is that it is an heirloom corn.
Okay.
So this is definitely some old traditional stuff, and not like some a European breed of the corn or any doctored versions of the corn.
Okay, then I tap out a quick email about that and send it off to everybody, and then go look at what Philip, I think that's what everybody called him, my AI has collated together in terms of GIS stuff.
Okay. The things you got, and I'm including this all in your research role. The things that you get from Philip are he's amalgamated bits of information from the books that you all came across, some old environmental data, the natural history of the area, marked that there are various mounds builders that were as far north as this area. Most people were avoiding the area, but there were some people believe that there was actually one of the mound structures somewhere nearby, but it may have been built over.
I add a secondary email to all of that, and then I dial up Ferdy.
Okay. Oh, and the other thing is there's apparently
3 hours later.
that marker tree.
Yeah.
Was one of a set in the area there. In that area there, initially, prior to the Holmgrens coming in, there was a ring of them, the marked in area, and then that kind of got leveled out, and the big one was the main one that was left.
Kind of a 5-point circle foundation.
No. More of a circle. There's more of a wood hinge type thing.
Oh, okay.
And from what Philip can tell, these are warding spaces. There's something. It wasn't a warning people off. It was trying to keep something in.
Well, shit.
Of course.
Philip, send all that information out to the team with executive summary bullet points as appropriate. I gather up all of the supplies that was going to go out to the underpass and quickly make my way out to the underpass while texting everybody where should I meet up with everyone.
Okay.
And that since it's 3 hours later.
So as you all are connecting with Daniel, you're getting a barrage of information from Leonard about things that he's.
I'm going to say that one thing Leonard has taught Furry that he can do pretty well at this point, because it becomes vital for their hunter careers, is that he knows how to press whatever he has to on his phone to make it so that Leo can GPS his own location. Like, I'm here on Google Maps or whatever. Like, my ETA is 15 minutes, like that kind of thing.
Okay. So, Daniel, you find out where everyone is at. So, how do people want to proceed? How do you want to reconvene, if at all?
When Daniel gets the email from Leonard, he's like, "Oh right, corn! I completely forgot about the corn," and he'll mention that. Because, I mean, if we're talking and then the emails start popping up, people like, right, corn. We also need corn. I don't know what kind of corn, but it's cornmeal. She wrote about, grinding up corn and, using it as basically a warding circle around the well. And then something about the bells may have been made with, like, blessings as you make them. So when we get our tin cans and whatever, and he starts ringing his bell again, we should probably start, thinking about that stuff. But I'm on my way to you. I don't know what kind of corn. Maybe Leonard knows. Vice of nervous.
So, Harper and Ferdy, do you wait for everyone?
Well, yeah, because I mean, unless Harper wants to go running and guns blazing, I'll support her in that. But
excuse you.
Too bad Shelby's not here to validate your Leroy Jenkins.
Otherwise, I want to show. I'm going to show Harper how to take the lids of these cans and like roll them up into little bells.
Okay.
Which this is probably like a lot of people actually do it that way. So.
Sure. So one thing is, as you all are leaving the Major Jenkins, Clara sees you going out, and she just gives you a stare, and she's like, "You think you slick, don't you? I've seen you going in there.
Yeah.
I hope you found what you was looking for.
Have a good day, ma'am.
Yeah. You have a good day, sweetie. Not you. Fuck you."
You too, man. Have a blessed day. Oh, why you always gotta be like that? Right. All right.
You guys are in Chicago.
Listen. All right. So for one, as we're leaving and rolling up these cans, I do have to say I have never, ever been more grateful for your addiction than I am at this very moment.
It's not an addiction, it's a pleasure.
I'm sure they were saying the same thing about opium dens.
You got any smokes, by the way? I'm getting kind of tired of this.
I don't smoke. You know this.
Oh. It's too bad. It's all right, sis.
So where do you all intend to meet? How do you intend to meet?
I'm just driving over to this location in my truck.
Yeah, I guess. We are going to wait, aren't we?
No, we're gonna wait because we're gonna
we
roll
don't
up
have
some
any-
of those Copenhagen lids.
Yeah, we also don't have any corn. I feel like corn's important.
No, I don't think I actually have any corn this time.
No,
There are stores nearby. There is a Caribbean market that caters to the African community in the area. There are various Thai and Vietnamese stores up and down Argyle Street. There's a Pakistani restaurant store a couple blocks away. There's plenty of ethnic food stores that have corn and various corn byproducts in the area.
So, do you think it matters where the cornmeal comes from?
I mean, honestly, if you're gonna go get some cornmeal, I suggest Bluebird, but otherwise, probably not.
All right.
I'm gonna call Leonard and ask him if he knows what kind of corn.
I mean, what's this timing at in my timeline of I'm locked away doing stuff?
This is at the very end. You've already
Okay.
given people your information. You're headed out.
Okay. So you're Danny's calling me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
What kind of corn?
Heritage.
Oh, okay.
Heritage corn. Heritage corn. I'm gonna send it out via text.
Okay, good. He hung up on me.
All right.
Heritage corn.
Bertie, he's saying heritage corn.
Yeah, so Bluebird's right then.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
that's what my grandma uses. Yes.
Hey, we can't get more heritage than grandparents, so we're gonna get a whole shit ton of Bluebird cornmeal, I guess. Do they sell it in 10-pound bags?
Yes, they do actually, because many people buy it for restaurants in the area.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So corn is
I try to keep a straight face.
So good. This is so good.
Heft up a
you
bag
gather a
of
ton
cornmeal.
of cornmeal. They have big sacks. These places have huge sacks of rice, huge, and it's like burlap bags, right? So it's big sacks of rice, cornmeal, beans, all this stuff.
All right, I guess we're gonna grab 2 10-pound bags of this stuff.
And the interesting thing about in the areas, a lot of this stuff is coming from down south, the islands and whatnot, and probably have a better chance of having old school corn or non-Monsanto corn in this stuff than you do in some of the name brands you normally would get. And you don't get any real name. There's no Bluebird here. But there are various other sundry brands that some are in Spanish, some are in French, African, sorry, not African, Nigerian, but yeah, you're able to buy stuff. And
Okay.
it is evening. The sun has gone down by the time all of your compatriots show up by the truck outside of the house.
What the hell are all these cans?
Making
Bells.
bells.
Bells?
Did Danny not fill you in?
You got a bunch of texts. You probably just didn't read them.
There's a Michael's, like, we're in Chicago.
I had them in my
Listen,
car.
I also think it's probably important in this case, based off of all the research, that we do this as authentic as possible. I don't know if the hairy man's hair.
That's a little bit of a problem word, but I had the cans on me. Why would I go waste money at the Michaels, pay white man in town prices? Fuck that.
I'm on his side.
I am going to put together a nonprofit foundation so we can share a credit card.
All right. In the meantime, here, take some of these lids, roll them up just like this.
Okay. I can do that.
And we string them together with this fishing wire.
Also important to pray when you're making the bells, according to the Holmgren journals.
Do you have bells?
Does it matter to who?
I don't think so. The story. So she made her bells in the like Swedish traditions, but she was told to make bells by someone with native traditions, Native American traditions. And Alan, I missed the name of the group or that Ronald was part of, the tribe, but
Knick.
Oh no, he was up near Kashina, Wisconsin.
Oh,
okay.
She didn't actually call out his tribe, but it looked like he was in Ojibwe, Chippewa.
Okay. So Daniel's just data dumping.
So since they've been making bells specifically with these prayers in mind, hopefully,
of course,
I'll start taking some of the bells out of curiosity and attaching them to the leathers piece that I have.
That's the thing we found in the book, right?
Yeah, this is really special.
You see this leather piece he pulls out? That is totally one of, it didn't occur to you before, that's totally one of old lady Holmgren's ankle
bracelets. Her ankle bracelets.
Ankle things.
Daniel is shocked.
So I'm going to attach these chaw-tin bells to it. Trying to makeshift the most blessed ankle bracelet thing ever.
So I guess we should grind up the cornmeal and put it on the bells.
I sniff it. I sniff the cornmeal.
Why would you put cornmeal on bells?
I'm gonna taste it as a special conservationist scientist tongue or something, and see if does it track.
This is actually good cornmeal.
Leo,
all right, we can use this.
This isn't.
I told her to get Bluebird, but they were all out.
This isn't some Whole Foods name brand mess.
All right.
This is actually cornmeal. There's some good corn in here.
All right. Can we run through some blessings on?
Yes. So here's the thing, y'all. This is the kind of stuff that you'll just do arbitrarily, like as Danny commented that it requires a certain level of intention as you're doing all these things, and you're all. This is actually an interesting scene because you're doing all this in the truck, parked outside of a condo in the middle of the gentrified section of Uptown.
I don't even give a damn what anybody thinks of me right now.
This is the best episode of Supernatural ever.
I'm definitely attaching some of these bells to my pistol.
So, I do need...
This is the right kind of knot you want to use with that fishing wire to make sure it stays on your pistol, just like this. Watch, Danny.
Thank you, Ferdinand.
You have to get into the right state of mind as you're doing this. Otherwise, it's junk. So what this requires, this whole process is, it's an extended action, and you decide who's making the main action, and other people can roll to assist. But it is a composure plus occult.
I think I would.
You, Ferdy? You would have started?
Yeah, I was gonna say Ferdy.
Okay, let me see what I have.
Does a folklore spec apply?
A folklore spec applies. Sworn applies.
Sworn's a +1, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Either one of those is a plus.
Would a cryptid spec apply? I should have kept my magic spec.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let the cryptid spec apply because your intentions are against this particular cryptid, and you've got a bunch of information about it.
All right, so right now I'm rocking 11 dice, 9 again.
Nice.
Are we moving to aid? Do we do aid on this?
I can aid. I don't know what I have to help, but I can aid.
It would be the same pool to aid,
Yes.
whoever is
Yes.
chief among it. But Ferdy might have a better pool because he's got like the craft specialty.
Yeah.
Can I use crafts for this? I thought we were doing a cult.
You could. Oh, that's a good question. It's a cult.
Okay.
Because of the prayer aspect of it. But the other people can use the better of craft or occult to actually make the pieces. So those of you who are assisting can use craft instead of occult. But Ferdy is your focus, and he has to use occult.
So when we're doing the aiding bit, what's our...
You just roll successes, and the successes that you roll get added to Ferdy's roll.
Single dice pool roll?
Yeah.
Of what did you say?
Either composure plus crafts or composure plus occult.
Composure plus occult. I can do that. With addition of sworn?
Yes.
With an addition of indigenous supernatural?
Yes.
Okay.
Plus folklore. Any specialties you have in craft, especially if you have like a specialty in like 10 snips or something, and that applies. Any specialties you may have that are music related would apply because it'll help you get a more resonant bell sound.
I'm going to admit, I mean, I built Daniel for stuff like this, but if it's the boring white dude who's leading this teamwork action, I'm going to be a little sad.
Okay.
Get a whole 2 successes from Leo.
Okay. 2 from Leo.
I also have 2 successes.
So that's 4.
2 more than 0.
More than 0. That was a teeny tiny dice pool too.
Dan?
Oh, who's leading?
Ferdy's leading.
Oh, Ferdy's leading? Okay.
No, we're not going to let Fool run the show here.
That's fair.
I think they're more into curses.
Oh.
No, play nice. Kind of want to take a craft specialty in Pinterest.
7.
Whoa.
7 successes?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
11 total.
Wow.
You only need 10, so just don't fail.
I told you, Danny's built for this.
Danny is a jingle-making monster. He's just doing all this stuff, and you've got
You get a bonus.
Harper
I do think it's
smashing on and grinding.
I do think it's very appropriate, though, that the loyalist of Thule would understand like the formula, but not the spirituality, and
Right.
therefore wouldn't be the actual. I really like that. It was a good. I would recommend us for beats for that.
And Harper, as a union person, this actually kind of reminds you of old days when you were little, when you were, with your own grandma, just kind of shucking corn and cooking in the kitchen and all that old work. That stuff you hated doing when you were a kid suddenly is really, really useful.
Mm-hmm.
Is there situational bonus that comes out of using the ancient leather piece?
No, that'll come in later.
All right.
Nice leather.
Wait, how are you pulling all of this stuff out of nowhere? What do you have in your house?
Do you not LARP?
How many
It's all tucked away.
successes do you want me to
You
get?
need 10 altogether.
I got exactly 10.
Oh, wow. So does that include what the rest of the team?
I added all of their dice to my roll.
Okay. then yes, it takes a little bit, right? You all are working at this for a couple hours, making all this stuff. It's a very odd scene. There are definitely a couple times where people come by walking their dogs, and they kind of look in the windows, and you all are cutting things up and pounding things away. And at one point, a group of teens takes a picture of you all.
I smile.
And it keeps on going, but
I asked them if they got any smokes.
Listen, it's Chicago. I'm sure they've.
If you
seen
ask
before.
one of the passing kids if they got any smokes, one of them says, "I got squares." How many you want? What you got?
Not accost the miners right now.
At this point, the miners are accosting me.
Dude comes up to the car, the truck. What?
Get out of here.
You bogus, dude.
Yeah, you're right. Get out of here.
Strolls off.
That's what you get for asking an 8-year-old for a cigarette.
You think that kid's 8?
No, I'm being facetious.
Oh.
And so there you are. You've got a bag full of cornmeal. You've got armloads of tin-snip bells. You've got one set of bells that are on the strap.
And at least one cigarette for medicine.
And at least one cigarette.
Actually, I got a whole pack over here.
There's one thing to be said about this whole thing, and I've neglected to mention that as you all kind of gather in front of this house, there is a general, without having any supernatural ability, there's a general unease you have sitting in front of this, just in this area. On this street, It feels uncomfortable.
What about the dog?
Dog is uncomfortable. Everybody's uncomfortable.
Right.
She's
Feels like
very.
someone's
She's.
under us.
What's your dog's name?
Georgie.
Georgie.
Yes.
Thank you. Georgie is very nervous in the back of the truck, while all this is going on.
I'm gonna give Georgie a I don't know, like a bone, a treat. Some old chicken.
The George is obviously happy to have such a thing. This townhouse condo thing sits there. It's mostly boarded up. There's a little bit of graffiti on the sides. The yard in front of it is a bit overgrown. The whole area seems a little worse for wear. Not terribly unkempt, but obviously somebody's not paying attention to the property. And there you are, ready to get in.
I'm actually
seen.
Oh yes, and scene. It is 10:51. We should probably start wrapping things up.
That's a good cliffhanger right there.
That is a really good cliffhanger. I couldn't have written one better.
I keep seeing it, except all in Scooby-Doo animation.
Zoinks! All right. So next week is the descent.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
As you go
into the well,
you go into this building down below and hope to face the hairy man down below.
Hopefully we have our healer.
Yes. Yes, hopefully you have your healer back. She's on her way back. She had to go to work, do some runs, and is heading back with the ambulance.
Sounds good.
By the time she shows up with the ambulance, we're gonna need it.
Yeah. And it is as you are all stepping out, preparing to find a way into this building that the ambulance pulls up. And Shelby is coming to join the party. And we will close on that. So thanks, everybody, for being part of the tale so far.
Yeah.
We go back around the circle or the trapezoid.
It's Pentagon at this point.
Actually, aren't we? Yeah, we're at Pinnacle.
Oh, right. I'm looking at the Zoom window and not the. other one. But so let's go around.
Gabe was asking about Pentacles earlier.
Tell us your name, the character you're playing, your pronouns, where you can be found, interesting things you're doing. And let's start with James. F.
Oh, okay. My name is James Foster. You can find me on Twitter at Umbra Venetier, and with the Mind's Eye Society at www.mindseyesociety.org. We are a national LARP group that runs World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness games. And I guess I should mention, which I forgot to do at the beginning of the session, that with self isolation and quarantine, we are kicking up a lot of Discord games. A lot of local groups that can't do live games are now doing Discord, and we run a host of stuff from Vampire the Masquerade to some Chronicles of Darkness games, including one set in space. And we are just starting we have a space venue, and we are also starting up Changeling the Dreaming history games pretty soon for a new Chronicle. So
is the background for the space game Jason X?
No, we have a custom setting that's sort of based on Infinite Macabre, which was Chronicles of Darkness 1.0.
Okay.
But yeah, check out our website. You can find, if you hit me up on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, I can help put you in contact with people if people are interested. But that's my spiel.
Awesome. Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber. I'm also the Rebel Selkie on Twitter, and this is my dog, Jack and Hagar.
Aww.
I don't know if you could see him because he's kind of behind the mic right now. Hi, buddy. All right. So I, unfortunately, also with the with everything going on in my area as well with COVID-19, my personal endeavors are kind of at a standstill at the moment. But yeah, I am hoping to get some side projects going on sometime soon. I'm hoping to get a Discord game going, but otherwise right now I'm just hanging out with these beautiful people and, just trying to survive.
Yay for beauty. Beautiful people. Gabriel.
Hi. I have been Leonard Leo Calder, he, him pronouns. And while everything has been shut down, this is a prime opportunity for us to, as gaming communities, to do exactly what we're doing right here online now. Just as James had said, the idea of using Discord servers, that I know Discord also upped their max limits on some of those servers to be able to handle upwards of 50 players in those spaces. So this is a huge opportunity for us to shift how we get to have games across the world, let alone just here in North America.
Mm-hmm.
I know that some of the things that I want to do here and in games that are online because of my LARPing background is stuff that I want to do more of, including if you ever need an NPC or perhaps additional storyteller and those things, volunteering my time, because there's time right now to do that. You can also reach me at gabe.dlosangeles@gmail.com if you want to consult with me on the designs of your games and or talk about play research, or if you really want to yammer on about how we need to use Philip a lot more. Feel free to let me know what you're thinking about that. Thank you.
Also, bonus points if anyone gets the reference of Philip. Just saying.
Thank you.
James Sombrano.
I'm JS Sombrano with my forever compatriot here, Gaucher.
Gaucher.
And I am he, they. You can find me on Patreon at JF Sombrano. And I want to meet this challenge that we were given. So to sum up what happened today in 3 sentences.
3 sentences. Can you do it?
I jumped off a train to a building. Pretty impressive, right? And then we made some bells, and so that knowledge came in handy. I also know a lot about how to tie knots. I'm pretty sure none of them know anything about tying knots, so that's really important that I'm here. And
Kept us
And I-
together.
and I have 3 times as much guns as any one of them, so we're gonna be fine.
Also, if I can just jump in for
Sure.
a second, with in mind keeping our community in mind while we're talking about this. Also, if anyone needs it, look to your local area for mutual aid, or if you guys can support mutual aid in any way. Like, there's a lot of us, I know a couple of us on stream are immunocompromised, me being one of them. A lot of us won't be able to leave the house. So like check on your people, make sure everyone's okay. If anyone can do any kind of running for groceries for people or meds, or if you yourself need help, like I know I'm from Buffalo, New York. My partner and several dozen of my friends are doing a mutual aid network right here in my hometown. Like, see if you can start one as well. Like, really, at the end of all this, guys, we just have to support each other the very best we can, because I don't know if we can count on anyone else really to help us.
And you don't
So-
have to do them all by yourself. There are
Exactly.
plenty of local nonprofits in the area that would appreciate your volunteership.
Word.
Yeah,
And thank you for that, Amber. And
of course.
I'm Alan Turner. I'm your storyteller, running a Hunter the Vigil game centered on characters who are members of the Union and Sworn, which is interesting because they're both groups that are very community-oriented, which is one of the reasons that this adventure is so grounded in the local area, because everybody matters, right? And we made a couple jokes about being self-isolated and whatnot, but this is, the truth is, this is all serious business. Those of you who are able to stay home during this time, hopefully we're able to give you some entertainment to kind of ease the solitude. And for those of you who have to go out, especially those of you who are service workers, we appreciate the work that you're doing and hope that you stay safe and healthy. We will see you again next session, and hopefully the members of Sworn and Union will make the world safer for everyone.
Oh, and that fuel guy too.
Oh.
I don't know if you were known for community though.
And that's it.
Curses.
Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye. Bye, hearts, and all that jazz.